in the office when I was banking, and really, were some of the first questions I started asking the universe really was, is this it? Is this as good as it gets? I remember very clearly sitting at my desk and just being like, did I come onto this planet to have this experience? Because I had a great job, I drove a flash Italian car, I had some lovely friends, I owned my own home, but I was completely unfulfilled. And it was a really scary place to be. From the outside world, from the external world, it looked like I had a pretty good gig. But internally, I was dying, right? I was scared, I was really frightened, and I was really concerned that this was all there was. Abundance is an inside job, and your intuition is the key to unlocking it all. Hello and welcome. I'm Rebecca Davison, founder of the Intuitive Life Academy, the leading place to develop your intuitive and psychic gifts. As an ascension guide and light leader, I'm committed to bringing you all the latest tools, developments, and the neuroscience available when it comes to the art of effortless manifestation. This show is for lightworkers and for those who identify that your intuition is your greatest guide to bring you happiness, expansion, and money. With my corporate banking background, you'll receive practical advice along with all the energetic tools that you can apply in your life today. So if this resonates with you, let's jump into the world of abundance and learn what it takes to experience true freedom. Hello and welcome, beauty, to the Intuitive Abundance podcast. I'm Rebecca Davison, founder of the Intuitive Life Academy, and I'm here today bringing you another Intuitive Abundance podcast. I'm excited today to bring you a podcast, The Journey into Abundance. You will have heard, if you've listened to the other podcasts, that we have spoken about your thoughts, we've spoken about your feelings, we've spoken about your ability to be able to receive, and we've spoken about limiting beliefs when it comes to money. So today what I want to do is I want to really help you to start connecting all these components and realize that abundance really is a journey. It is a pathway, and it can be the most amazing pathway if you allow this process to be an intuitive one. So starting to think about all these different components and how we put them together to really create this pathway, I think one of the most important things to hold in mind is really the journey into abundance is really about the person that you wish to become, the person who is able to hold certain frequencies in their body and in their energy field. I think if you know how to manifest, if you know how to create your reality, I think you would be in agreement with the statement that it's really, there's no piece of paper in the form of money that can give you the sense of fulfillment and expansion and growth that the journey and the pathway into abundance can bring you. Because abundance is a frequency, and what we're choosing to do is bring that frequency into our body and run that frequency so strongly that we feel safe, we feel connected, we feel open, and we can receive easily, we can create easily because there's no obstructions, there's nothing in our flow that is getting in the way. So really realizing that the sense of fulfillment, the sense of expansion, those feelings of joy and bliss that can be created through the human body, that is the pathway into abundance. And that's why money really does just become a side effect, right? When you're living your joy and you're feeling blissful in your body and you're feeling amazing, you are living in abundance. And when you are in those frequencies, it's going to be so much easier for your thoughts to be moving in a particular direction, for your feelings to be magnetizing what it is that you want. to be open to receive all the goodness that is available to you and really have your energy field flowing in a way that really serves you and feels amazing. Really leaning into, if you are on the journey of abundance, taking that higher vision of who is the person that I wish to become, and how can we start being aware of these different components and start clicking them together like Lego pieces so we have a clear pathway and a clear journey into abundance, because it's a bit of a dance, right? It's a dance with the universe. We're learning how to communicate with energy, frequency, and vibration. We're starting to understand the pathway and what is possible for us. And this is why money can be such an amazing awakening tool. It speaks to us at a very deep primal level, speaks to us in even deeper ways, often in terms of our own value proposition. And we learn to start dancing with the universe in terms of creation through the pathway, the journey to abundance. So I'm excited to speak to this topic today. And I really want to start where we started back at the beginning of the podcast, which was talking about your thoughts. So one of the first things that you can start doing on this pathway is the process of self-inquiry and learning to ask questions, asking the rational mind questions. Now, to start with, that might be some questions around money, obviously, to be the person who's going, well, what do I think about money? How does my family do money? What's important to us in regards to what we choose to spend money on? What awareness do you have around money where maybe it's been amazing and maybe it hasn't been so amazing? Do you have any circumstances where you can think of a time or a place where you felt disappointed or let down by money? And starting to ask questions. Now, if you're doing this from the rational mind, wonderful thing that this does, of course, is it gives the rational mind something to do. And what you're doing as well is, on one level, you're starting to initiate a greater conversation, because it's one thing to ask your mind, for example, about money and about abundance and about value and your value proposition. But it's another thing to do this, and that is to ask your heart about money or your value proposition. And for women as well, women and men, but I primarily work with women, to even ask your root chakra at the base of your pelvis, how your root chakra feels about money, your value, and your value proposition. Because what you may notice is you get different answers from different parts of your body, which can be really surprising in a lot of different ways. Now, that's one aspect when we're starting to work with the mind. They're asking questions, and then we're starting to take our attention and focus into the body. So asking your mind, and then maybe going into some feelings around money, but then on the next level to notice what is present energetically. So you're an oscillating field of energy made up of all the choices that you have made in the past, your unique perception and filter of reality, what you have decided to make true for yourself. And of course, what we can do from this space is to start being aware energetically what is showing up for you. You might even start to notice patterns of energy. But let's go back to this pathway. So the pathway to start with might be asking some questions. But what we can do when we start asking questions is we can get intentional. So one thing, of course, if we're going to be asking questions, is to set the intention to start working with our intuition. So what you're essentially doing is you're activating your relationship with the divine, because it's one thing to ask your mind a question, it's another thing to perhaps ask your heart or your body, but it is another yet again to ask the universe, to ask pure source energy, the intuition that is available to you beyond your physical body. So when we start working with all these different elements, we're going to start getting information. And this is what happens with your intuition. You have to activate this relationship. A lot of people think that some people have intuition and some people don't. What people fail to understand is it's an activation and you have to activate it. Nobody else can do that for you. The process of awakening is something, now for some people they may say that it happened to them, but really on some level you have to choose it. And if you're not choosing it, there's a good chance that you might be experiencing contraction. That's one way that the universe gets your attention. It's asking you to look at what is causing the pain to help you become more aware. But choosing to activate your intuition because you have free will. And the universe will never override your free will. So one of the most powerful things you can do to activate this journey of abundance is to declare to the universe that you want to develop your intuition, that you're ready to do that you're choosing that you want to open up this relationship, this dialogue with the divine. Just like if you were at a party, you would choose to go and speak to somebody or not. It is the same with the universe. Are you choosing to start communicating with the divine? Now, a lot of people might go into their head when they hear that. They might be like, oh my goodness, what does that mean to start talking to the divine? It means that you're willing to ask questions from all of those places, from your mind, from your heart, from your body, and from your energy fields, and being open to receiving information. So even right now, just declaring to the universe, I'm willing to communicate with the universe, right? Opening up the channel, really doing the initiation, which is choosing, which is putting your hand up and saying, yes, I choose to receive information from the universe. And how we, of course, can apply this to abundance is start asking questions, not just of our mind or our heart or our body, but also of the universe, right? Show me what abundance feels like in my body. And what you will start to realize, maybe not instantaneously, but the more you go into your journey of abundance is not just particular to money. Abundance to me feels like bliss in your body. And I'm sure if you're listening to this and you're not feeling bliss in your body, that might be something that feels really attractive. To feel bliss in your body, to feel like you're lit up from the inside out. Again, which is a natural byproduct of shining your light. Now, when we start tuning into abundance and these feelings of fulfillment and expansion and growth, what will happen, of course, is you will feel safe to feel open. You'll be feeling good in your body. You'll be feeling happier than ever before. And naturally, as part of that, money becomes a side effect. It becomes part of that growth expansion. Now, people might be listening to this and going, but money can still show up independent. Absolutely. You can still be miserable and create money in your life and world, but that person will be doing that from their rational mind. If they're really wanting to experience fulfillment and pure bliss pleasure in their body, right, they'll be choosing to do it from their intuition. So, and of course, if you're interested in the pathway and the journey to abundance, you'll be the person who's choosing having it all, which is to feel good in your body and to be able to manifest and create what it is that you want in your reality. You'll be choosing all of it. To be able to communicate with the divine, to be able to create abundance, to be able to hold abundance, to feel good. And again, this is the beautiful pathway. This is what we can choose to experience when we start even with asking questions from the rational mind. Where do I feel pure source energy the most in my body? Can I feel myself being held in the energetic frequency of support? When we even start placing our energy and focus on the fact that the divine is always around us and within us, we can feel less alone. We feel more supported. And of course, that has a wonderful knock-on effect on your energy field, on your thoughts. It helps to uplift you. And when you're uplifted, your energy expands. And when your energy expands, it's easier to experience those manifestations. So you can see that the pathway to abundance is really an amazing process of awakening. And this is something that affects people at such a deep level. You know, I remember sitting at my desk in the office when I was banking, and really, you know, were some of the first questions I started asking the universe really was, is this it? Is this as good as it gets? You know, I remember very clearly sitting at my desk and just being like, did I come onto this planet to have this experience? Because I had a great job, I drove a flash Italian car, I had some lovely friends, I owned my own home, but I was completely unfulfilled. And it was a really scary place to be, because from the outside world, from the external world, it looked like I had a pretty good gig. But internally, I was dying, right? I was scared, I was really frightened, and I was really concerned that this was all there was. You know, it was only until I started asking those questions that things started to shift. And I know if you are listening and you're at that place yourself, please let me offer you that hope and inspiration that comes from knowing that it's safe to choose yourself. And I know the feelings that can come along with that. You know, there can be deeper feelings of anguish and not feeling supported and not feeling like the universe has really got your back and trying to make sense of life. And there are a lot of things that happen in life that can bring up bigger charges of energy, emotional energy. We need to learn how to navigate that. We need to step into the path of really choosing to heal, which is where, if you want to heal effectively, you'll never do it by yourself, and you'll never do it alone, and you'll never do it just through another person. You will do it through the good grace of the goddess, right? True healing occurs when you are witnessed by the divine. You know, so we need to start questioning, and often it's through the contrast that we start questioning. But that's beautiful, because of course now we're developing a skill set where we're going, okay, universe, if there is more, show me what it is. And again, that's often where money can be the segue for a lot of people. You know, I'm tired of living in fear and scarcity. I'm tired of feeling this contraction. I'm tired of feeling like I'm not safe. Right? If you resonate with any of that. And of course, you know, for a lot of women that I work with, they're wanting to take their destiny into their own hands by stepping into being self-employed, which is really the most beautiful space to step into your ability as a creator, right? Allowing pure source energy to move through your body, into your business, into your sacred clients, no matter what it is that you're doing. You know, your business really can be a vehicle for the divine to be able to, for you to shine your light. You know, you want your business to light you up. You want to feel as excited as Christmas morning every day. You want to be bringing those joy frequencies in. So starting to ask these questions of ourselves and of our mind in the first instance perhaps, but we just want to be consistent. We want to set the intention that you're ready for the universe to support you. You're ready to communicate with the universe. You're ready to go, okay, I'm listening and I'm going to take some guidance. Now, I've often seen it before where women are getting intuitive hits all the time, all day long, downloads information. But the next evolution really is to start taking action on it. So we have our thoughts, and maybe we've started asking questions, which can be an amazing thing to do on so many different levels, folks. Often if you're not having great thought processes, guess what? Asking a question can interrupt that. And that can be really powerful if you're stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, to just start asking questions to allow there to be a different reality present, or a different outcome. It can be so powerful to just learn how to interrupt your own thoughts and even to ask yourself questions like, is this thought form serving me? Is this showing me something about myself? Is this even true? Would I say this to my best friend? And if not, then we can make a different choice and go, okay, well, what is something that I can choose to focus on? Or what is something that I can ask myself so I can gain deeper knowledge about myself? So again, what we can start doing, of course, the next step is learning how to feel our feelings. You know, we're just talking about the pathway at the moment because I could spend more like I could do a whole podcast, right? On not just a podcast, but a whole series of podcasts on how important it is to feel your feelings and how to shift energy through your body. But we can start this process. We can start the process of learning to feel. For a lot of people in the first instance, one of the first things to do, and it can feel scary, is to learn how to take your attention out of your head and into your heart. Because often we can have a lot of control issues. We can have fear around feeling our feelings, but what you will learn and discover is your feelings are just like clouds. They'll always pass, floating through the sky, floating through your body and energy field. Your feelings love to be witnessed. They will help you to feel more alive, to witness yourself, to see yourself. And one of the big aspects that I help people with in my work is to be present to their feelings without any judgment and without attachment. Right? That the feeling is just there. I'm not making myself wrong or bad. I'm just noticing that that feeling is there. I'm not attaching it to a story or to a person or to a circumstance. I'm just noticing it's there. And this is where embodiment processes can be really powerful, and learning how to feel in your body, because your body is so amazing at showing you information about what you are holding, especially that it's probably ready to let go of. One kind of litmus test for this is just to ask yourself, do you have any aches or pains in your body right now? Are you holding any tension? You know, do you have any stress in your jaw? You know, even asking yourself, what's my breath like at the moment? Am I breathing very deeply, or am I just breathing really shallowly? Starting to notice. And your body loves your attention, right? Your body just is like a flower that as soon as it gets your attention, it just opens up. And do you think that that is beneficial for living in the energies of abundance, for feeling safer in your body? Just like everything else, your body loves your attention. It loves you being present to all of it. So asking questions of your body and just noticing if you're holding tension, and if you are, taking your attention to that place, and maybe even having a dialogue. You know, super important to do this with aches, pain, tension, is to just be present and to bring loving presence to yourself. This is often how we learn to be kind to ourselves, by being still, being present, bringing the light, bringing the focus, bringing the attention to ourselves, and starting to really have a loving communion with ourselves. And then what we'll notice is this makes it easier, again, to be open in our energy fields. You know, your body is the densest part of your energy field. So it's often where we hold the most energy. It's not necessarily around your body, above your head or below your feet. It's in your body. So your body can be such an amazing guide, especially in regards to tension or held emotions or energies that are holding you back. Got a great video on YouTube of a beautiful client, Eileen, who we did an energy clearing on her, and she had trouble with her arm, one of her shoulders. She couldn't even lift it over her head, and this had gone on for like 5 years. There's just pain in her body. So during this energy clearing, you know, we just spent some time with this pain and allowed it to communicate with us. And as soon as it was witnessed, the energy was released. and the pain is now gone, because now Eileen knows what that was all about, what it was showing her. And she was amazed that emotional pain can be held as physical pain in the body. So can you see also too, starting to connect these pieces together, your thoughts and your feeling and your divine temple being your body, that really the path of abundance is really one of connection and coming into wholeness and feeling complete within yourself. It's starting to gather all these different elements of yourself and bringing it into a space of embodiment. And I'm sure you will agree that feels delicious, coming into wholeness, which is the universe. The universe is whole and complete. And when we start coming into alignment with what the universe is demonstrating to us, this is very powerful, and it's very happy and healthy place for human beings to be. So that process really of, asking the body, listening for the pain, starting to ask your body questions, and then noticing how you can shift energy by paying attention often. Sometimes there will be deeper energies held in the body that need a deeper witnessing, especially if we've made any agreements, any contracts, any vows, or any commitments to try and prevent ourselves from feeling pain. I spoke a little bit about this on a previous podcast about defense mechanisms. So being willing to open up to feeling can be so powerful and can be another way that we can experience more bliss in our body and feel safer around money. So even starting to ask yourself, how do I feel about money? And what you might notice is there's some deeper energies here than just a thought process. There might be some pain in your heart space in regards to a family circumstance around money where maybe you didn't feel valued. There might be, some pain held in your back because you don't feel supported by life or money. The body is always speaking to us. And if we start to pay attention, we can witness ourselves and we can allow the universe to come in and start using, because you always want the universe to support you. The universe can shift energy in the blink of an eye, right? Not even that. Whereas human beings, if we're trying to do this all by ourselves, it will feel like a burden. It will feel like, whoa, that's a lot. But if we can just relax and lean back and allow the universe to come in and show us what needs to be seen, then we can make quantum leaps forward in really beautiful, easy and blissful ways. Now I know if you're listening to this and you're listening through the rational critical mind, you might be feeling like, well, it's easy to say, but that's the invitation. The invitation is to step inside of yourself and to start exploring the wonder that you are. You are a unique impression of pure source energy in a body, and you bring bliss to the universe by exploring that, the wonder of who you are. And I know sometimes with our feelings, our mind can make decisions that your feelings are hard or scary, but they're not really when you let that go from the mind and you just are willing to be present to them. Sometimes there will be bigger charges of energy that move through your body in the form of pain or tears or sadness. You will have a lot of physical sensations. But again, if we can detach from the story, i.e. somebody's making me feel this way, and just be present to the emotion, we can allow things to shift so much quicker. You think if there's an emotion present and then we've kind of hooked it into a person or a situation or a circumstance, it actually makes it way harder for that emotion, energy and motion to move through you. It gets stuck. So we need to unhook anywhere we've attached the emotion to a person, a thing, a situation, our money, our value, and just let the emotion be there. And if we can do this, if we can witness ourselves without judging, you'll be amazed at how much energy can shift through your body. And granted, this is a practice. This is the work. This is part of the work to learn how to be, again, if you want to be a good lover of yourself, of other people, You'll do what it takes to be a good feeler. Because what we really want, of course, is not to know that we are love, right, from the intellectual mind. We want to feel it in our body. We want to come into that beautiful alignment that occurs when your thoughts are supporting you, where your energy from your heart space is moving in the right direction, and you can feel source energy in your body because all your cells are lit up and can feel the light in your body. That's really the feeling that we want to experience. And that's just not just an emotional energy feeling. That is a pure source energy connection experience. So it's very different than just an emotion that is available to us through the emotional field. So we've started looking at the thoughts, and now we're looking at the feelings and going, okay, we want to start asking questions. We want to activate our intuition. And how do we do that effectively? That takes practice, right? Again, it takes consistency. It takes being willing to feel those feelings. You know, I work with women in terms of taking them through a year-long program to really get very good at being sensitive and feeling their feelings and being aware of what is intuitive guidance and what's not. The difference between their rational critical mind and their ego reflex and a vibration from the universe. And really getting to that place, right, that you've activated your thoughts and you're starting to ask questions of the universe and you're doing the work of being willing to feel and notice that your body is amazing in terms of the information it can bring you. And then, of course, starting to take action on the intuitive guidance that you're starting to receive because you're showing up and you're being consistent and you're practicing that each and every day. And again, often that is where we need support because, you know, as a coach, I really value coaching. I've pretty much always had a coach as an intuitive coach. And, you know, just to be held in supportive energies, so beneficial. And especially as light workers, because the path is not common reality, right? If you're a light worker, you'll need support to evolve and to elevate and to be held in those higher frequencies and to make it safe to do so. You know, making it safe to rise and evolve is part of every light worker's, you know, it's printed into their DNA to support people in doing that. So really we want to learn what it is to start thinking those thoughts, asking those questions, activating our intuition, starting to feel our feelings more deeply, noticing how it feels to be in our body. You know, I'm always aware, every single moment, right? I'm really aware of what is happening in my body. And I'm always asking for my awareness to go deeper and deeper. You know, so if I feel a sensation in my back, I'll start asking questions about it. I'll start saying, okay, what is that tension showing me? You know, I don't just go, oh, I slept funny. Right? I start asking questions. I start sending light to that part of my body. Is there part of my body that's looking for extra support? What does it need? What would it take for that to feel more open? You know, what does it need to kind of relax? You know, is there somewhere that I'm pushing too hard? Or, you know, what does it take to lean back and allow any tension to be melted away? Again, often by just taking our focus there, it will bring you information. So when we're getting to this point in our journey where we're really, you know, tuning in, what does abundance feel like? I'm asking questions, I'm activating my intuition, I'm feeling my feelings in my body. What we want, we kind of shift from the old paradigm perhaps of the status quo, and we get to a place, especially if we've done the inner work, right? So we feel safe and we feel healed, perhaps, you might say. You can use your energy to start focusing it towards what you want to create. And it becomes easier to do that, right? You're not distracted, or you don't have that procrastination, or you don't have imposter syndrome showing up, because those parts of you feel more whole, right? There's no invisible wall holding you back anymore. And then you can start moving into really what I would call co-creation with the divine, where you're really starting to say to the universe, where do I go? Who do I need to be in service to? How can I help? How can I assist? What is my mission, right? What am I here to do? How am I here to help others? what is it that I can give today? And we'll do another podcast another time in the future about divine compensation and what that is. But really starting to lean into, okay, now I've come into more wholeness and I can now bring back all this energy that perhaps has been spent on just getting me through the day previously. And now I'm being called to move into giving, right? To move into light leadership, to move into what is my purpose? What is my mission here on the earth plane? Which you can appreciate, folks, is very different from being in those energies of, is this it? Right? You're feeling lit up. You're like, I'm ready, right? I am ready to have pure source energy move through my body and to start going out there and being a good giver, right? So you can do this in really small ways. And again, it really does, I mean, you can do it immediately, but it really does have much more, I don't want to use the word impact, but much more reach, perhaps, if you are giving from a place of feeling filled up. You know, I think women especially are really, these days, because women do things like work, look after the children and run the household, right? Women are really good at giving. But what women often don't realize about giving is it's actually masculine energy. So if you are giving a lot, you're kind of polarizing into the masculine. And what will happen eventually is one of two things. You'll end up feeling resentful, or especially if you're not communicating your needs in each and every moment, or you will start doing things where you start blocking yourself, right? You'll start experiencing more resistance because there's part of you that's like, when do I get to receive, right? And I did talk about receiving in podcast 3, I think it was. So just being in that space of kind of going, how much am I giving? And, you know, when do you get to that point where you get to receive? And then we start going, okay, well, what does balance look like in terms of my giving? Because, you know, when we are a light worker, of course, we want to give. It's part of us. We want to give. We want to see other people happy. We want to, if we're sensitive, we want to feel good. We want to feel the vibration around us is good. It's important for us in our environment. We want other people to ascend and to experience greater levels of joy and higher levels of bliss. So in order for us to be able to do that, of course, giving is part of that. But we also want to learn what it is to give from a place of balance. And again, I could speak to the difference here between, you know, overgiving, which is often comes from the mind and can often be a way that we avoid feeling, you know, so if you're a people pleaser, or if you find it hard to say no, or if you know, have some wobbly boundaries, what you might be doing is you might be filling up the space to give, so you actually avoid feeling a feeling. And, you know, just again, sometimes when we hear something like this, it can pay to just take a moment and take a nice big deep breath. And if it's safe to do so, close your eyes and then just tune into your body and ask, you know, is that true for me? Am I overgiving to avoid feeling a feeling? Because this is where we want to continue to do the work all the time. Am I giving from a full cup? Have I given to myself? And of course, folks, you know, I'll do a whole other show in regards to, you know, even codependency, right? Like giving from a place of needing something in return and how that skews your abundance. Because when you put an expectation or an attachment on a person or your money or anything energetically, it skews the energy. And again, that's what codependency really is, right? Needing something from somebody else in order for you to be okay. As opposed to like giving from a place of like, I feel joy in my body and I want to share this and I want to give from that place. And I know for entrepreneurs it can be a little confusing because it's kind of like, well, of course I will give and I'm happy to do that, but I also need to receive, right? I have bills to pay. So when it comes to that, right, we need to be the ones monitoring our energy and mastering our energy field to make sure that we are giving to ourselves. ourselves so we can give from a place of joy to others. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we're going to zap ourselves and we're going to burn out our adrenals. We're going to feel unsupported. We're going to start feeling resentful. Those energies will start pushing clients away and it will feel off, right? It will feel not safe, not good. And you'll start noticing things not going the way probably that you want them to. So again, this journey into abundance, right? The self-inquiry, learning how to feel your feelings, opening up and activating your intuition, starting to get intuitive guidance because you're speaking to the universe. And then, really coming into purpose and mission as a light worker, and again, that can look different for everybody. You can be a mom and be a light worker. It's not particular to being an intuition coach or a Reiki master or a Zen healer. If you are interested and feel that, your connection with the divine is important to you, you can safely identify as a light worker. But the vehicle through which you do that, whether it's looking after children, whether it's a corporate CEO job, as women, we want to feel bliss frequencies in our body. But as women, we are often very well trained to give and to overgive. And our work, really, a big part of our work is to learn how to polarize back into that feminine so we can receive more, so we can fill our cup up with joy, the way we want to experience life as women, which is essentially, through sensual pleasure, enjoying our body, enjoying the moment, being able to being present. And you can see why another big part of that comes back to our ability to feel, not just physical sensations, our emotions, and our ability to be in our body. So we're getting to this point where we're asking bigger questions and we're, focusing and kind of galvanizing our energy so it moves in a bigger direction, and then starting to go, okay, well, what is it that I want to co-create with the divine? What is it that the universe wants to co-create through me? And again, as you can see, we can go back to this self-inquiry and asking questions, receiving information from the divine. So let me just kind of share with you different ways that I receive information from the universe. One of the ways that I will do that is through journaling, through writing letters to people or to money or to my business or to, to experiences that I want to have. Even writing out how you want to feel in your body or how abundance feels in your body, right? Really starting to focus your attention on the way that you want it to go. Meditation. It's interesting too because, people talk a lot about meditation and, it's hard and your monkey mind. But, it's really interesting. If you're quite good at listening, I would encourage you to try this on. And, if you're not great at listening, what would it take to become a better listener? Because I actually see meditation as listening to God, right? So I'm just going to sit down and be quiet and listen. And I don't know, somehow it makes it a different experience than just meditating. It means that you're open, you're in anticipation, you're in that space of being willing to receive guidance. Now, often what will happen is people have expectations around meditation. So letting go of that, because you might not receive the information in that moment, right? Or in that 20 minutes that you've sat down to meditate, but you might sit there just in stillness and quiet, which is really great for your physical body, really great for your awareness, for your energy fields, just to be still, because life is busy. Okay, and then being in that space of stillness, and then, you might get up and, go wash the dishes or something, and boom, some awareness comes in. Or an idea drops in, or you've created enough space for information to come through. When we first start opening up and developing our intuition, the universe can often speak to us through symbols. So you might choose a symbol and ask the universe to show it to you. So you're getting that confirmation of, oh, look, that's the universe winking at me. Often it can feel like synchronicities are a big part of it, right? To have a circumstance where maybe you've just had a conversation with somebody about something that's piqued your interest, and maybe a couple of hours later, somebody else says something similar. That's another way that the universe is communicating with you. It's trying to get the information through that this is important. Pay attention. If you ever have 3 people say to you in 24 hours the same thing, do something about it. That is the universe saying, hey, just helping you to get the memo that what they're talking about is important. It's, the power of repetition there. Often, obviously, angel numbers. When you start awakening, your angels will often communicate with you through numbers. The 1111 sequence or 222. That is again, higher frequencies sending you awareness and information. And again, if we're just starting out, those are the things that we can start being aware of, like maybe your symbol is a triangle or a butterfly or something, and you'll start seeing more of that in your awareness and energy field. And then, of course, starting to have conversations with the universe, and maybe it will be a sensation, distinguishing between your intuitive yes or no and how that actually feels in your body, and then starting to ask more questions of that and get really comfortable of going to your yes and no in your body and in your awareness rather than just your mind. All of these things can start expediting the process and the ability for you to be able to communicate with the divine and then take action on it. And you're only really limited by your imagination in terms of what you can co-create with the divine. You can literally ask the universe, what's $1 million idea? But of course, you have to be open to receiving the information, having it come through into your reality, and then being prepared to take some action on it, which is often why you'll see people who have had an amazing idea, but they didn't take any action on it, and they see somebody else take action on it and they're like, oh, I should have done that, right? Like I had that idea, but I didn't take action on it. It's almost like the ideas are floating around, waiting to drop into people who are open, and therefore people who are going to take action on it are going to get some kind of result. So starting to work with different frequencies and to see the world in a different way to really open up this pathway of abundance. Because if we're asking ourselves questions from our intuition and from our energy, am I in alignment with making and creating $10,000 this month? Your mind will automatically go, yes, of course it wants to experience that. But your energy will often tell you something different. Your body and your energy fields will show you if you have contraction or limitation on that. And once you've learned how to get that awareness, you can then shift the energy using energy tools, which of course is, totally my world in regards to teaching other people those tools so they can get free and clear. And feeling good about doing it. Sometimes the ego will do things like go, oh, why do we have to do this anyway? Right? And again, it's not, you can see that that's just coming from a place of duality, right? Separation. When we come back into oneness, what we're choosing to do by using the energy tools is we're choosing to make the universe a priority. So we're choosing to come into alignment with truth. We're choosing to be the person who's willing to do that, right? Being the person who's willing to initiate that conversation, just like we would with the person at the party. I'm going to go first. I'm going to step up. I'm going to step into my truth. I'm going to allow these frequencies of energy to move through my physical being so I can experience greater understanding. I can start to see the world through the universe's eyes, which is often, it will definitely bring you mind-blowing moments, right? Because you'll start to realize how powerless your mind is. It is not the most powerful part of your being. Your mind is the least powerful part of your being. Subconscious being more powerful still, but your superconscious being more powerful. But really starting to ask yourself that question, which is probably what I'd want to leave you with today, which is really, what kind of relationship do you wish to have with the divine? Because naturally, that is the path to abundance, right? The money is a side effect of you choosing joy. What is the most joyous expression that you could imagine is possible in your connection with pure source energy? What do you believe it is that you came to do, your unique gifts, skills, talents, and expression when it comes to being pure source energy in a body? You know, if you really knew yourself as the universe, what would you choose to do? What would you choose to do? What do you imagine would bring you the most amount of joy and pleasure and fun, and naturally as part of that, abundance? And this is why it falls on deaf ears if we have been living in fear and scarcity and doubt. Because what will happen is there'll be part of your mind that goes, what are you talking about? How can I choose to do what it is that I love and be abundant? Because often a lot of people put in the limiting belief there that if I'm an artist, then I'll be a starving artist. Or it's hard to make money doing what you love. That's not true. You know, if you have the creative willpower, if you have the motivation, which always comes from source energy, if you choose yourself, the universe is choosing you because you are the universe. You are the universe in a body. So really starting to learn how to master this energy and start sailing your ship in the direction that you want it to go. Abundance is a natural byproduct of that. And again, I know this conversation has probably been a little bit more higher view rather than being in the nitty gritty of actually talking about the ins and outs of money. But the pathway again, just to come back to that, start asking yourself questions. You know, ask the universe to show you what is true. Great question to ask the universe. Show me the truth, right? Be prepared for the universe to show you some stuff that might challenge your ego a little bit. Don't be concerned about that. You know, the ego is the part of you that loves to get affronted or offended easily. Just to kind of be in the observer and go, oh, look, you know, that part of me is getting offended. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that funny? Just observe it. But allow the universe to bring you in truth. And then start asking more questions and start learning what it is to feel into your body. How do I feel today? What feeling is present? What comes up if I just create space? And we'll talk more about feelings again in the future because there's kind of 5 main feelings, which is fear, grief/sadness, anger, joy, and sexual feelings. But just to be in the presence of those and allow it to be there. Learning how to do that and to do it effectively and to do it consistently so you get more and more information from your body and from your energy field in regards to what's up with you. You know, noticing if you have any of those aches and pains. And then starting to galvanize your energy so you can start focusing on giving from a place of truth. Because you have the vitality and the energy to be able to do that, to be able to go, okay, yeah, I'm going to be able to focus my attention and send life into what I want to create. I'm going to ask the universe to support me. I'm going to listen to my guidance. I'm going to start asking those questions and having the universe answer me in ways that maybe I don't expect, but know that the universe is always communicating with me and that it's safe to receive this information. And once I've received it, I can actually take an action step on it and go ahead and take an action step and see what happens. I'm not judging myself. I'm not making myself right or wrong. I'm just going, you know what? I'm getting this intuitive information and I'm going to take an action step on it. I'm going to get really good at getting really clear in regards to my communication with the universe so I can receive information really quickly and go take action on it really quickly, letting things flow. Once we get really good at that, we're really in that space of really choosing to be in service to the divine, and you will get to that point where you're like, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What does that look like in my version, my unique version, and the highest timelines and the best frequency and my pure delight energy? What is it that I'm going to do? And when you are in those frequencies, money will always be there because you're living in the frequencies of joy. You're choosing it, you're calibrating it, you're embodying it, you're experiencing it. Money will be there. You won't even worry about the money anymore because you'll feel safe and relaxed. You'll shift out of those fear and scarcity, right? Because you'll know that the universe has got your back. But again, it's a journey and it's a process. And the beautiful part is it's really a process of you becoming that person that you wish to become. So the journey into abundance might not have been what you expected, but I'd love to hear your feedback. Please do pop a review if you are listening on iTunes, we'd love a review to let us know how you're finding this information. Thank you to all the listeners who've left us a review already. It's much appreciated because, of course, it helps other people to find this information, for them to choose more awareness and be able to bring these frequencies into their life and world as well. In the meantime, folks, I'll look forward to connecting with you again in the next podcast. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take good care of yourself, and always to your continued success and evolution. Bye for now. Bye. Thank you for joining the Intuitive Abundance podcast today. If you've enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and write us a review so we can help other people positively impact their lives. I would really love that. If you're ready to activate the energy of abundance within you, then be sure to go to www.intuitivelifeacademy.com to sign up for our abundance activation process. Until next time, here's to your ever-increasing freedom. All my love. Bye for now.